Now let's go ahead and add some geometry along the splines that we've created. So here is my finished spline. Yours may look a little bit different. That's okay. As long as you've got everything connected in kind of a logical way with pretty much four-sided pieces all along here. You can have some triangles here and there. That's fine. So I've just got this connected up across this way. You can take a look at this and just take a look if there are any issues that you may have as far as getting yours working. But this is what I've got. Yours may look a little bit different. So once we've got this spline cage, we now need to create some geometry to go along with this. So to do this, we can use a modifier called surface. So we'll go up to the modifier list and add this to the stack. We'll just go ahead and add surface. And you can see we've got a few parameters in here. If we look at this threshold, I've got mine set down pretty low to 0. And so, because I've got all the points pretty much set where I want them to create that geometry. You can see as I dial that up, it's kind of connecting things where I don't want them to be connected. Okay, I've also got the normals, flip normals off, because in this case, my geometry comes in okay. You can see the color side is pointing out, which is what it should be. If yours happens to be black on the outside, you can always just flip those normals around. Okay, and also the patch topology here, you can see if I bump this up, you can see how this starts to smooth this out. Since we're going to be taking this into a polygon form, we don't really want to use this. I'm just concerned about the topology, so I'm going to go ahead and dial this all the way down to 0. Okay, so I've got the 1-to-1 ratio as far as the splines and the vertices compared to the polygon version that we're going to get. Otherwise, you'll get kind of a smoothed version. All right, so once we've got this surface and it looks okay, if you've got any holes in here, you might have some holes or gaps, not counting this one. You can go ahead and just draw those across. You may have kind of a big end-gon there that you need to fill in. You may have some segments you need to delete and redraw across there. So any of those sections will show up as not having any geometry there. You can just go in and try to fix those up just by re-refining, just deleting those segments and then refining those again. All right, so once we've got this, we can go ahead and collapse the stack. So yeah, and that'll collapse it into an editable patch, which is sort of the geometric equivalent for the splines compared to like a polygon with edges and vertices and so forth. So if we go ahead and select kind of these vertices, you can see there's still a couple of vertices here, but it's actually created this patch geometry. Okay, and you can select the individual patches if you want, pull those out. So we're going to actually convert this one more time to a polygon to get it kind of to be a polygonal piece that we can use our polygonal tools on. So go ahead and right click, convert to editable poly, and because we have that step set to 0, it comes in like this, just 1-to-1 ratio there. Okay, and then you can go ahead and if you want to preview that, you can smooth it just by adding a NURBS toggle to that. Go ahead and turn off our edged faces, take the subdivision surface iterations up, and you can see how that smooths out. Now you can see we don't have any sharp edges here, so that's one of the things that we need to start doing now that we have this as a polygon. So we can start to come in and add some resolution on here. So there are several ways we can do this. We could use our connect. So we could select this ring. So in this case, I'm going to start here because it's going to cross over each other. So I'm going to hold down Control and click on the up arrow on ring, and that'll just take that selection up until we get to the end. And then I can come in and add connect and just slide that out to the outer portion there. Okay. We can also use cut. So if we go to edit geometry, cut, and then we can manually come in, draw this across, and then maybe come right down there. And then we know we want to sharpen this up, so we can use the base of this triangle that we just created to come in and add another line right in there. Okay. And then you can move these points around just like you would any other polygon. Okay, you can zoom into there and see what that looks like. So now we're dealing with this in a little bit more of a conventional way as a polygon. Okay, and you might want to go ahead and add additional edges in here as well. Go ahead and come in and connect. This time maybe we want to do 2. Take the slide down to 0 and take the pinch up a bit. Kind of sharpen this edge up. And we'll have to come in and probably smooth some of that, some of those pieces out a little bit. That's okay. Okay. So anywhere you want to have kind of a harder edge, you can come in with your polygonal tools and start to add that. Now in here, we actually need to start to get our geometry in here for the vent itself. So I'm going to go ahead and take this border and I'll hold down Shift and pull it back, create a little bit of a lip there. Okay. If I want to also, I can go down to Edit Borders and cap that, and that'll give me a polygon here, although it is an N-gon. It'll give me a polygon that I can use to now come in and either bevel or extrude. So if I bevel this, I can use the local normal, take that height down, take the outline amount down, closer to 0. So something like that. Okay. And then you can modify that a little bit if you want. Okay, maybe pull that out to get our kind of our vent there, our vent geometry. And then you might want to do an inset on that. Take that inset amount down quite a bit to add the sharpness there. Okay. And then you want to go in and probably connect this up. So maybe go to our Edit Geometry, go to Connect, and just draw this across. Okay, and then looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and connect this across here. Okay, up to there, and then we can start to look at this and say, okay, I want to come in and draw this across. Now, in this case, we don't have anywhere to put this, so you can go ahead and add another edge loop right up here. So even now, working with our polygons, we can still go ahead and add additional geometry here. I'm going to take the pinch down, and slide that about halfway, and then you want to modify that curve just a little bit, and then go ahead and cut that across. Okay, and you may need to come in and tweak some of these points a little bit so they're a little bit straighter on. Same thing here on these two outer points. I'll just kind of pull these out, and so that can be our kind of our vent piece in there. So now if we want to have the kind of the frame for that, we can go ahead and select some of these polygons on the outside here. Kind of right here. Alright, and we can go ahead and just duplicate these or clone these. So if we just pull these straight out, holding down Shift, and we want to clone it to an object. So we'll say OK, so that'll give us this piece here, which we can now select, hopefully. There we go. And now we need to kind of thin this out, so I'm going to go ahead and isolate this. And so we can use our cut, or we can use connect. I'm just going to cut this. And I want to create just a little thinner version of this. Okay, and I want to cut across here as well. Just trying to maintain a similar width. Okay, and just do the same thing all the way across. Okay, and go ahead and pull that down. And then grab the outer polygons here. Go ahead and turn that off. And then grab those outer polygons and just get rid of those. Okay, and then we'll take these two vertices, and these we want to actually weld together. Okay, so we'll go to Edit Vertices, let's weld those, and let's up that threshold, and then just kind of pull that out a little bit. Now if we exit isolation mode, okay, and we can now add a little bit of thickness to this by going in and adding a shell modifier. Okay, and we want to do an inner amount, so we'll take the outer amount down to 0, do a little bit of an inner amount. We can add a few segments there to give that some thickness, some hardness there. You can also do a bevel on those edges if you want, and then we can kind of collapse that, convert that to an editable poly rather than a mesh, and we can start to preview what this sort of looks like at this point just by toggling this. And then we'll do a toggle on this guy. And this one I'm going to give it a kind of a black so we can see the difference here. Okay, so on any of these, you can see what that does there. So you might want to thicken that up. This is going to be kind of our vent texture here, and then we have the frame inside it. All right. So you could go ahead and separate that as well if you wanted to. So here we've just got kind of a lot of the hard edges added in here. You could also come in and start to smooth this out if that's a little bit too hard for you. I think it's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on in the next lesson by kind of mirroring over this gas tank and adding some detail along the top. Okay, so we'll just kind of generally finish this out. So we'll go ahead and do that next.